Hi, this is a man they once in a while call Mr. Las Vegas. My real name is Wayne Newton, and you're listening to my good friend and favorite DJ, Jimmy Deal.
And he's my good friend, too. He's a great guy, too. Jimmy Deal. Welcome to the Jimmy Deal Show. I'm Doc G, and tonight's guest is somebody you're going to remember from the old days. She's a wonderful person. Her name is Lena Prima. Is that correct? Right? Welcome to the show. Correct. Welcome to the show, Lena.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Lena. Welcome to the show. I'm so great to have you.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I want to congratulate you on your big band live album, the concert, Live in Concert. Oh. Tell us about putting this together.
Oh, thank you. I did a show in Vegas in 2019 at the Smith Center at Myron's Cabaret Jazz, and we recorded it. We videotaped it and recorded it. And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and I really wanted to release it because it was a wonderful show, and I thought this would be a nice way to put something out in 2020 that would give people a good feeling like they were at a live show. So that's really how that happened. And so I was glad I was able to put something out in 2020.
Yeah, and you picked some really great songs for the album too, like I've Got You Under My Skin, Come On to My House, Oh Marie, Just a Gigolo, your father's signature song there. Yeah. Tell us about picking some of those songs and putting those songs together.
Yeah, I've been doing, when I went out on my own in 2000, I put a tribute to my dad together called Louis Prima's That's My Dad. So I picked, of course, a lot of the songs people would recognize and told stories and things. And I still continue to perform a lot of those songs, like Just a Gigolo, the song from Jungle Book, I Want to Be Like You, Pennies from Heaven, the Italian songs, stuff so that I'm so proud. I'm so proud that my dad is Louis Prima. So it's really a blessing to me to be able to play that music and say that's my dad. And people recognize the music even if they don't even know who it was, and then they learn something,
Wow. And you put together this album in New Orleans, right? Basin Street Records. Tell us about living in New Orleans and performing in New Orleans. It sounds like such a fun time.
It's fantastic. I moved there 10 years ago, actually. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary at the Hotel Monteleone. We perform there regularly every weekend. It's in the French Quarter on Royal Street. It's just a beautiful hotel, and my dad played there when I was a kid, so it feels really like being at home. And it's wonderful. The vibe is great. Every weekend there's just fabulous people from all over the world and locals that come in there, and I have a great band, and we just have a ball. I love it.
It looks like it. I mean, I know you have some party crowds, and it looks like you guys are always having a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's not that. I mean, it's New Orleans.
Absolutely. Your dad must be very proud. Doc G, what do you have for Lena Prima?
Oh my God, there's so many things that we can talk about, Lena, but I got to talk about the songs. When you sing some of them songs, do you actually, do you envision like your dad being so happy and proud of you singing his songs? How do you feel about that?
God, I hope that he is. I hope that he is smiling down on me. I just feel proud to be able to play that music for people. And, especially in New Orleans, because he was born there and what he did started in New Orleans, that music and that sound and that fun. And he took it all over the country, and his music's all over the world. So I feel like, to be able to perpetuate that legacy. He was such a love-filled man, and his music, that's why everybody loves it so much. I think he was so warm and so filled with love. So it's just great to be able to play these songs, and I'm super proud. And I like, when I see people, they're pulling out their phones and they're looking up who's Louis Prima. They're going, oh my God, I see recognition on their faces. They start singing, all ages, like really young people too. So it's just a pleasure to me. I'll always do the music as well as my own stuff.
Right. Now, your mom, too, was a classical trained singer, right? And she used to be a stage partner with your dad.
My mom was an absolutely beautiful singer.
Great. And tell us about growing up in a musical family. Tell us what your inspiration was and how you got started in music.
Well, of course, my dad, was on stage since I was 5, so just being up there just felt natural to me. And when I was a teenager, I really got into, my voice had a similar tone to Ann Wilson from Heart, so I copied a lot of Heart songs, and I really was into rock. So when I first started professionally singing at 19 and working in the clubs, I was a rock singer. I was a rock singer for 10 years or more. So those are my influences, were all those rock singers, but mostly Heart. You know, it's funny how you sound like somebody, and so you automatically go and practice to their stuff. You know, so I feel like I learned how to sing from listening to my Heart records.
So great.
And then I went, you know, into the lounges, so I was working 2 jobs and singing at night, and then I found that I could just, you know, become a lounge singer in a band, just be the girl singer, and I could work full time doing that. So I started doing that, and it was great. I did that for many years before I put my own show together and went out on my own.
Well, is it true your dad taught you how to play the drums?
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No problem. I know right now you're in Disney World. You're in Epcot, right? Tell us
I
about
am.
it. You're on vacation right now. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. So tell me your question
awesome.
again. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It's okay.
That's all right. Is it true your dad taught you how to play all the drums?
Actually, my mom taught me how to play drums.
Cool.
She played drums. Yeah, so that was my first instrument I learned. Okay. And I also took piano, but I was more interested in the drums. I like that better.
Oh, great. Now, I'm sure your dad told you a lot of stories about his life in show business. Do you have one story you can share with us?
Let's see. He told me a lot of stuff about like growing up, and you know, him seeing the first car and how the streets in New Orleans were made of mud, and then they threw oyster shells down, and then when the first car happened, and he told me about his father drove an ice truck and then a soda truck, and it was called Dr. Nut Soda. So his father drove a soda truck. So he told me about his growing up time. He did tell me one story though, that he was born on December 7th, and he was on stage, and they rolled a big cake out for him. And I guess the Pearl Harbor bombing occurred, and everybody ran out of the room when the cake came out on stage, and he didn't have any idea what happened. And I thought, that's an interesting story. You know, he's on stage and he has no idea the terrible thing that happened, but everybody ran screaming out of the room right when they rolled his birthday cake out.
Oh, wow. Your dad played Vegas a lot. Did you get to perform with him in Vegas a lot at all?
Yes. Yeah, I was born in Vegas, and we moved back and forth when I was a kid. So I went to school in Louisiana as well, in New Orleans, and across the lake in a town called Covington. My dad had a golf course over there that he built, and also one in Vegas too.
Wow. Yeah, one time I got to see your dad's house in Las Vegas, and it was so awesome. You know, I'm such a big fan of your dad, and my parents were a big fan of your dad. I mean, and he was always full of charisma, always bigger than life, always smiling.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory of him?
Well, gosh, that's a tough one, because just his presence. I think about how exciting it was just to be in his presence. So just him, I mean, being at home with him, or when he came home, it's just, God, he was bigger than life and so fun and funny and warm and sweet. I did have one special day with him where, you know, it was just a daddy-daughter day, and he took me out to dinner, and then we got back, and he knew I had a penny bank. So, and it played Pennies from Heaven. So he wanted to see the bank, and I brought it to him, and he sang the song to me with the little music box from my bank.
Aww.
And so after he passed away, I started finding pennies all over the place, and for years, and I just thought, gosh, I really believe they're from my dad whenever I need them, you know. And I started telling that story on stage, and people were coming up to me saying they had similar experiences with loved ones who had passed on, and they would find pennies and they knew they were from their loved ones. So kind of a really sweet story.
Wow. Doc G, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about. I didn't know your dad played the trumpet. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was his first instrument was violin, but he switched to the trumpet. His older brother played trumpet, and he used to let my dad come and sit with him backstage or on the side of the stage when he was playing out in the club. And so my dad wanted to play trumpet because all the girls liked the trumpet player.
That's
so yeah, so his brother had a trumpet he left at home when he was out on the road, and my dad picked it up, and he already knew music, so he just had to figure out the embouchure and the fingering of the trumpet, and he learned how to play. And he, of course, is just such an underrated musician. A lot of people don't realize what a great musician he was, trumpet player he was.
Yeah. Now, when he sang some of his songs, did he write any of them songs that were hits?
Well, he wrote Jump, Jive, and Wail. He wrote a big hit that's Sunday Kind of Love. That was a big hit for Etta James and Reba McEntire. A lot of people recorded that song.
Right.
And he's one of the writers on that. He wrote Sing, 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 which is in the Grammy Hall of Fame. Most people think Benny Goodman wrote that.
Yeah.
My dad wrote it, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a songwriter too. Boy, like you said, he's very, very, a lot of different positions he could take.
He's also credited with O Marie, the English translation of O Marie. It was an Italian folk song, and he's the first person to record it in English.
My grandmother used to sing that to me.
He's a big, yes.
No, go ahead. That's how my grandmother used to sing it to me. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So he was a big hero to Italian Americans in the 40s. Okay. When it was not cool to be Italian at that time, and he, said Italian words in his songs and on stage, and people would line up to go see him, and they would bring him pans of lasagna and put it on the stage. And he made Italians feel proud to be Italian. And he always taught me that as a kid too, to be proud of being Italian and be proud of my name and heritage. And it was very important to him. So I've always felt that same feeling, like I'm an advocate for Italian heritage and Italian organizations. I have my own in New Orleans called Ciao Inc., and it's Celebrating Italian Americans organization, and I give awards to people in the community who are doing outstanding things in the Italian community in New Orleans and Louisiana.
What does it mean to you when a new artist like Brian, I forget his name, from Stray Cats, does Jump, Jive, and Wail?
Oh yeah, well that's great. My dad would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about David Lee Roth's Just the Gigolo? What do you think of that? And what do you think your dad would have thought of that?
Oh yeah, that was cool. I met David Lee Roth. I went to his show when he was in Vegas, and I got to go backstage and meet him. He was very nice and very, very happy to meet me, and I loved that he did that song.
So awesome. Now, when you first started performing, you performed at a young age. Is it true you had to sneak in some of the clubs because you were underage?
Say that again. I was underage when I first started.
Right. When you did some of the clubs in Las Vegas or wherever you guys were playing,
oh yeah,
you had to sneak in the back door, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, they had to sneak me in the back door, and then I could go on stage in the rock clubs and stuff. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I came across one time when I was in Las Vegas, I ran into Sam Butera, and he would tell me some good stories about your dad. Do you remember Sam Butera?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we called him Uncle Sam. We called all the band guys by uncle. They were like family.
Wow, that's so great. Yeah, he would always tell me great stories about your dad. And also, when you first started performing, when Hurricane Katrina hit, it did a lot of damage to your dad's hometown in New Orleans. And you went and did a nice benefit concert there. Tell us about that. Yes,
we went in, and it was the Mardi Gras right after Katrina, and just so that the locals could be lifted, their spirits could be lifted, and could raise some money to help people. And it was, it was just so terrible to see the devastation that happened. It's just it's undescribable, really.
Yeah.
But it was great to go there and to be part of, lifting spirits and bringing some joy.
Absolutely. I mean, that was such a nice thing that you did. I mean, to help all those people with your benefit concert. And I'm sure everyone was so happy to see you at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt good. And just to be part of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, also, I mean, your dad was a very big influence on you. Now, you were in college when you first decided really that you wanted to go be a full-time singer and performer, right?
I'm sorry, it broke up. I could not hear. I couldn't hear you.
That's all right. You're in Disney World. I understand. You went to college when you decide, and when you came out of college, pretty much, that's when you decided to go into full-time performing after college.
Yeah, I actually was in school to become a hairdresser, and there was a musician in the school that I was going to who was in a band that was working, and they were looking for a singer. Mm-hmm. And my friends, who I always sang in the car for my friends, or I would go to their place and they would put on records and make me stand up and sing, and they all said, "You have to have Lena in your band." And so it was really meant to be. I was in school for something else, and I ended up in my first working band, and then that was it. I just wanted to do that, and that's how it happened.
Wow. Now, you also worked with the Spiral Staircase. Tell us about that.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in Spiral Staircase in 1999. Just a girl singer. I sang backups, and I sang some, I had some lead stuff. I did some of my dad's music, like 3 or 4 songs, and I was featured. But yeah, it was a great band. There was a couple of original members that put it together, and I was with them for about a year. We traveled all around, and it was really a great experience. And that's when I put my own show together. And when I left Spiral Staircase, I started my own show, Louis Prima, That's My Dad.
So awesome. And also you've done over like, what, 4,000 performances in your career?
Oh my God. Yeah, at least.
Amazing.
Oh my God. Yes. I've been on stage. I was saying how when the pandemic happened, that's the first time I've been off stage for longer than 2 weeks in my entire life.
Wow. So,
yeah.
And I know you played Vegas a lot, because I went to see your show in Las Vegas. I went to the casinos there, and I had such a great time. And I got to meet you and hang out with you after the show, and you signed a CD for me. Tell us about your memories of playing Vegas.
Well, I love playing Vegas. I was fortunate enough to be able to work there for many years, full time, 6 nights a week, like my dad did. We did more shows a night, I think, than my dad at that time, though, because things had changed. But, doing 4, 5, 6 shows a night, 6 nights a week, it was a lot, And then when I put my own show together, I was just doing like a weekend here and there. I was at the Sahara for a couple of years in 2004, in the Casbar Lounge where my dad had played when he was in Vegas. So we did like a tribute to my dad, just 1 show a night, but we did work 6 nights a week doing that for a couple of years. And then I just was doing showrooms and traveling around the country after that, festivals and theaters and, different things.
Right. I mean, did you get to meet a lot of his celebrity friends when you were at the show with him?
I did meet some. I was little, so, I mean, I remember meeting Debbie Reynolds and Frankie Valli, Sergio Franchi, Harry James, Al Hurt, Jimmy Durante.
So cool.
Yeah.
Wow. What about Kelly Smith? Did you get to see her and work with her at all when your dad was working with her?
No, because different wives,
Yes.
Another, it's not, there was no like friendly relationship between my mom and Keely Smith, so that didn't happen.
I got you. What about your brother? I know your brother's a performer. Tell us about your brother and where does he perform, and tell us about that.
I really have no idea. I know he does do my dad's music, and I wish him the best.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Doc G, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Lena. What about Rough Angel? Can you tell me a little bit about that with Jeff Workman?
Oh, yes. That was an all-original band that I formed in Reno. I had met some guys in Vegas that were traveling from Reno, and they came to one of the rock clubs I was working at, and we became friends. And they were putting together an all-original group, so they reached out to me to see if I wanted to be the front person and write some songs, record stuff, and, you know, tour around. So I joined the group, and we moved to Reno. And then we submitted a demo to Jeff Workman, who lived in Denver at the time, to see if he would accept us as a project to do an album. And Jeff Workman is a platinum album producer and engineer, The Cars, Foreigner, Journey, Queen,
Wow.
Motley Crue, all those bands. He did some really big hit albums for those bands. So we were very excited to be accepted by him. And so we moved to Denver, the band, and we recorded an album with Jeff Workman. And then we were playing rock clubs around the radio in Denver. And we decided to try to get to LA. And we stayed in Vegas for a while, and we played at the Troubadour in LA a couple times.
Nice.
But it was a weird time because it was 88, 89,
Mm-hmm.
and the grunge scene sort of happened after that. And we were really like that 80s rock sound, you know? And it just music just kind of changed. So the band just broke up, and I tried to put together some other bands, and just the music had changed so much. I wasn't really a fan of the grunge rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of when I switched over and started working, you know, doing cover songs and stuff.
Oh.
Rough Angel was a really good band. We wrote some songs and had fun, and it was a good experience for me to work with Jeff Workman, absolutely, because I learned a lot about producing and how things work in the studio, how to construct songs, and it was valuable for me to get to work with somebody like that, you know.
Everything is a learning experience, is it not? But I want to ask
absolutely
everybody that's watching you and listening, if you guys got any questions, please post them in the chat, and we'll ask Lena for you. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, tell us more about your residency in New Orleans. Tell us about the hotel. I know you got a lot of shows coming up there. Tell us all about that and how people can see you if they come to New Orleans.
Well, we do. We're there on Thursdays and Saturdays at the Hotel Monteleone. It's on Royal Street in the French Quarter. Beautiful hotel. It's got the famous Carousel Bar. It's world famous. The band comes on at 9 o'clock and does a set, and everybody in the band is featured. And then I come on at 10 o'clock. I do 2 shows from 10 to midnight. And we just do we do some of my dad's music. We do some original songs. We do some New Orleans music. We do some rock music, and just, you know, a mix of stuff. And we just have a really good time. It's a really fun atmosphere.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
Yeah.
It must be really jumping at Mardi Gras time, right?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I could imagine. Do you perform at all on Bourbon Street? How far is your hotel where you work off of Bourbon Street?
Oh, it's one street over. It's just a block over.
Oh, wow. It must be really jumping and partying when you're there, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's just the way the city is. There's music everywhere, so it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
Right. You often joined your dad on stage during the summertime, right? You went on road trips and stuff. Do you have any great memories of that, being on those road trips?
Yeah, they were really fun. I loved it. I loved traveling. My dad had a motorhome, and so we all went on the road in the motorhome, and everywhere that we went, you know, we got to be on stage with him, and it was just really fun. Really a neat way to grow up. Really a neat childhood, and sort of gave me that love of traveling and meeting new people and seeing new places, and, you know, growing up like that. It was really great for that, to move around and, you know, be a person who likes adventure. I really like it, and that all came from growing up like that.
Right. Your dad had so many great songs. I mean, just like Just a Gigolo, that old Black Magic. Do you still have a favorite one to perform that your dad did?
Well, my all-time favorite was 5 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, and Jump, Jive, and Wail. So I put those two in a little medley that I do. And then I recently recorded 5 months, 2 weeks, 2 days with an artist named Frankie Marino in September. It was released September of 2021, and it went to #1 on iTunes.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
Who would have thought that?
that's awesome. Hey, Lena, can you tell me a little bit about, I'm looking at some of your songs here on the Live in Concert CD, and you have a song called I Want to Be Like You. Is that from the Jungle Book? Is that the one that your dad sang?
Yes, that's the one he sang in the Jungle Book. Yep.
That's an awesome song because my kids grew up with that.
Absolutely.
So cool.
You have any memories of performing with your dad at early ages too, or no?
Yeah, I remember the first time I was on stage, I sang Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and I just remember that. I'll never forget that. The feeling of the being on the stage and the lights and the people all smiling at me and just being up there. I just loved it from the first time.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Well, I mean, you've done shows all over the country, from Las Vegas to just about everywhere. Do you have a favorite place to perform? Is it just New Orleans, or do you have another place to perform where you really like to go?
Gosh, I don't know. There's just great. I don't know. I honestly just have a really good time. I love going anywhere to perform. I don't really have a favorite place. I love New Orleans, but gosh, I like everywhere. The people are basically the same everywhere. Everybody wants to have a good time and feel good and hear this music and relive happy memories. And, so that's just a joy for me to anywhere I go to meet. It's about the people,
Right. Doc and I are from New York and New Jersey. Do you get a chance to come out this way at all?
I've been to New York. I've played a couple times in New York, but obviously with what happened with the pandemic, we just did our first travel date this past weekend. We went to Georgia to perform. So I don't know. I'm scheduled in Vegas in April at the Smith Center again.
Oh, cool.
And I just don't know, we're just kind of glad to be back working, period.
Yeah.
Right now. So I really don't know what we're going to be doing. It's just crazy times right now.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of friends that canceled tours because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, have you been doing any writing since the pandemic, or just kind of like taking it slow and waiting for it to come back?
Yeah, actually, yeah, definitely. We have a new song we just put in, and we're working on some other stuff. So I'm really hoping to release something by April.
Oh, wonderful! I hope you send it to me so I can play it for my listeners.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, that would be my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Lena, you recorded a number of albums over the years. Do you have one that stands out that's very special to you? Is it the new one?
Yes, the Prima La Familia album was a big project that really meant a lot to me, and I'm very proud of it. And I think that my dad would really be proud of it as well. I wanted to really get a lot of that the Italian novelty songs, and some of the Italian music, and get it on an album, a big band album that I could put out that could be passed on to younger generation. And so that was a very heartfelt project that we worked very hard on. Larry Seaborth did the arranging, and we recorded it in Nashville with some amazing musicians, and Scott Williamson played drums on it and produced it as well. And he is just incredible. So it was an incredible experience, and I love that album. I just love it.
So awesome. You've done so many festivals around New Orleans. I know you've done the Gretna Festival and the Voodoo Festival. Tell us what that was like.
I'm so sorry. You have to repeat that.
Oh, no problem. You've done the Voodoo Festival there in New Orleans. What is that like? What was that like? Do you have any memories of that?
Actually, I did not. I didn't perform at Voodoo Fest.
Oh, you didn't?
Okay.
Okay.
I was there. I did one song with a girl, like a girl group that they got a bunch of female performers. I just performed one song, but I didn't actually have a show there.
Oh, okay. So you just got to perform one song, but it must have been an awesome song, I'm sure.
I did one of my original songs, but I do perform at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival pretty much every year, and the French Quarter Festival, which is incredible. And we're so happy that they're having it. They've been canceled, and now this April and May we're scheduled for both festivals.
So awesome. We have a question from a listener, Tom Payton. Lena's been called a female Michael Bublé. How does it feel about that in comparison?
Well, oh my God. Well, that's a high compliment. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Hey, Lena, did you ever think of teaming up with like Dina Martin or any of the other children of the celebrities?
I did a show with them.
Oh, nice.
With Lorna Luff
Oh, nice.
and Steve Torme and Ricky Martin
Oh, cool.
and myself. We did a big show in Vegas together where we all did a few songs and then we all sang something together at the end, and it was wonderful.
Aww.
It was me. It was cool. It was cool.
Oh,
I know Dina very well. I've known her for many years, and we've sung together just impromptu many times.
Oh, so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You know, I saw some great pictures of you at the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I guess, with your dad's star. What a great honor for your dad.
Absolutely. So well deserved. I'm so glad that happened.
Absolutely. I mean, it was such a great picture. I love that. And what a great honor for you, for the family, and for your dad. What's next for you, Lena? What do you have in store? Any new projects coming up?
Well, like I said, I'm going to be working on releasing a new album for April. Mm-hmm. And we're just right now glad to be working at the Hotel Mont Leon. We're booked on Thursdays and Saturdays there. So if you're traveling to New Orleans, we'd love to see you. Stop in and say hello. And I'll also be in Las Vegas at Myron's at the Smith Center, April 22nd and 23rd. So if you're in Vegas, please come see us.
Absolutely. So looking forward to that. And tell us how we could get your album and how your fans can stay in touch with you.
The vinyl you can get from BasonStreetRecords.com. Mm-hmm. And my music is on my website at lenaprima.com, but it's also available Apple Music and iTunes.
Okay.
And some of it on Amazon as well.
Okay.
So awesome. Doc G, go ahead. Do you have any thoughts for Lena Prima?
Yeah, I mean, again, we can talk all day to you. How's the weather where you're at? Is it okay?
It's beautiful, actually. Absolutely perfect day.
Now
about 67 in the day, and it's getting a little cool now, but it's just a beautiful day.
She's coming to us from Florida in the Disney World, and she's making this show from there for us. We appreciate that so much.
She's actually in Paris at the Epcot, right?
At the Epcot, yeah, in Disney.
Yes.
So we definitely appreciate your time for that. But we also want to ask you, Lena, if you could do a promo for Jimmy's show and our radio station. All you have to say is who you are, and you're listening to the Jimmy Deal Show on Hamilton Radio.
Sure. Do you want me to record it separately and send it to you?
You can do that too. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, it'll be more quiet if I do it.
That's fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That'd be great.
We want to let you get back to what you're doing, but we want to thank you again for calling in. Any last comments or questions from Jimmy, and then we can call it a night.
Yeah, no, what an honor to have you. And I said, I'm a big fan of your dad's. My parents were a big fan of your dad's, and I love what you do in tribute to your dad. I'm sure he's smiling down on you, and I want to thank you for taking the time to call in and hang out with us while you're on vacation.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
You know what? It's an honor to be with you, both of you, tonight. And thanks for having me on, and thanks for the wonderful things you just said. It means a lot to me.
Oh, you know what? Your dad spanned many, many generations and many, many decades.
Yes.
And between my grandparents and my mother and my father, I'm sure there's a lot of people that know him.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So thank you again, and have a great night. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you both very much.
All right.
Thank you, Lena. We'll speak. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lena. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, Jimmy, another great show.
She was great.
A wonderful person. And we could just amazing. But
absolutely.
Anybody else coming up soon that we can talk about? So
absolutely. I mean, this Wednesday we're going to do a show at. It's going to be late. It's going to be 9:00 Eastern time, and I believe Jack Jones is going to join us. So hopefully he'll be here. And Monday we have singer Beverly Bremers is going to join us, Doc. I mean, I think you know Beverly.
Yeah, I've known
well, right?
Beverly for a while. Sure, she's a good friend of mine. She actually has a voice teaching school, so I think we're going to be talking a little bit about that. She's a wonderful person.
So awesome. Also, next Wednesday, I'm really excited about this. A friend of mine from the Munsters, Butch Patrick, Eddie Munster, is going to be here.
Munster, yeah.
He's going to hang out with us. He has an appearance coming up, I believe, on the 13th of February at Pandora's Toy Box, and it's going to be in, I believe it's Lafayette, New Jersey. So we'll talk all about that. He's going to be here, so you can actually go out and meet him, get an autograph, get a picture. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Also, another friend of mine is going to be here, talk show host, the legendary Richard Bay. Remember the Richard Bay show when people are talking? And
Richard
Bay, he had so many great shows, WABC Radio. So Richard Bay will be here. Also, American Idol's Crystal Bauer Sox will be here. She was great on Idol.
I liked her. She was good. Yeah.
Yep. TV star actress Audrey Landers from the show Dallas will be here. Yeah, so I'm excited about that as well. And another American Idol as well, Chloe Chanel. Great talent, great girl. She's going to be here. Also, an old friend of mine, Memphis radio DJ program director. He's worked on WHBQ, the first radio station to play Elvis Presley. He was good friends with Rick Dees and Elvis's friend George Klein. He has so many stories from Memphis radio. Rob Grayson will be here. So we're looking forward to that. Maggie Bra, an up-and-coming country star. My cousin used to play in her band in Nashville, so we'll talk to Maggie. Also, an Italian singer superstar friend of mine, Angelo Venuto, is going to be here. He does Sweet Caroline like no one else in the world. I mean, this guy is so talented. It's unbelievable. Also, New York Jets legend Wesley Walker is going to join us. Vocalist Heidi Vogelish is going to join us at some point. And dance music artist Lucas Prada is going to stop by. So we got so many great artists on the way and so many great performers and celebrities. And I hope you all come back every week and join us.
Join us, guys. And remember, if you can't see the show on Facebook or you can't see the show on YouTube, you can go to cinecon.net. It'll be under documentary, and the Jimmy Deal show will be right there. So I want to thank everybody for listening, but I want to mention one more thing. Charlene Tilton, I reached out to her for the Audrey Landers. I don't know if she's talked to her, seen her for a long time, but it might be nice to try to get them both together on that show. We're going to try, guys. We're going to try a little small reunion.
Oh, that'd be great to have a Dallas reunion on here, man. How cool would that be?
It would be super great, yes.
I want to thank all our listeners out there, too. Tom, thank you so much. I saw you out there. We asked you a question, and thank you so much for the questions. We had Flo out there. I saw Cindy Lake Ronkakama. My mom was out there. Also, I want to mention tonight, on a sad note, we lost a listener and a very good friend of mine. Her name was Joanne Scaglione, and she used to listen to the shows, and we're going to miss her. She just passed away tonight, in fact. So I want to wish the best to her family, and we're going to miss her. And so many other great listeners that listen to us every week. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Keep coming back. Keep hanging out with us. We got some more great people on the way, right, Doc?
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, people, not everybody comments that listens, and not everybody listens that comments. So please interact with us so we know who's listening, and if you share it, we want to know if you're sharing it. And, we want sponsors. We want to get sponsors for the show. We got a lot of people coming up, a lot of great things going to happen to us. So let's make it all happen, guys. Thank you all for listening and watching. Of course, I'm Doc G, and for the Jimmy Deal Show, say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.